What up, it's Marcus Dynasty Dads. People are gonna hate me for this video. I already know it. This is probably gonna be the one that I'm gonna have the most hated comments of probably the month. I would say so. This is a hard one to gauge. We're gonna be combining 2021 class with the 2022 class to see where some of these 2022 prospects overall are in the landscape of things and what I compared these two classes together. There is something that I do want to say at the end of the video of kind of the conclusion of what does this mean? Number one overall. So if we had to recombine these classes, 101, we are taking Ja'Marr Chase here. Ja'Marr Chase is a guy that I did have behind, and this is super flex. This is behind. I mean, we had him behind Trevor Lawrence. We had him behind a couple other quarterbacks. We had him behind Najee Harris. It's like Ja'Marr Chase has shown that with his age, his ability, he's a top 3 wide receiver in Dynasty, arguably wide receiver one overall. I have Justin Jefferson slightly above him, but if you have Ja'Marr Chase slightly above Justin Jefferson, it's all right. It's LSU world here. So again, Ja'Marr Chase 101. I think that's the first couple picks. It's not going to be overall that, I guess, dramatic. I mean, you have 102. I have Najee Harris slightly ahead of Kyle Pitts. But this is not tight end premium. I'm not doing this as in tight end premium. And honestly, Kyle Pitts is sometimes a unique unicorn in that position of tight end. So I could easily see they are so close. They're almost back-to-back in my Dynasty overall rankings. So when I have Najee Harris and Kyle Pitts right next to each other, and Najee Harris is a top 4 Dynasty running back, and Kyle Pitts is the tight end one overall in Dynasty, you could arguably say Kyle Pitts is ahead of Najee Harris. They're 2A, 2B, 2 and 3 to me. Then we have number 4, Javonte Williams. Javonte Williams, again, a top 15 overall prospect, top 20 overall prospect in Superflex here. Javonte Williams is a top 6-7 running back in Dynasty, and that's not really argued on any basis here. But one of the things that we haven't said yet is we haven't said a 2022 prospect, and we're still not going to, because number 5 overall is Jaylen Waddle. I understand with Jaylen Waddle, with Davonte Smith, 2 wide receivers get traded onto those teams, but these guys are still so young that even a 1B, like a Chris Godwin to a Mike Evans, a Justin Jefferson to Adam Thielen type thing, it doesn't matter, because the world of passing, you even have Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp. There are very few situations where there's only one amazing wide receiver on a team. I mean, look at T. Higgins. T. Higgins is still being drafted as a really good wide receiver, even though that Ja'Marr Chase is going to be there and will be there. There's A.J. Brown, still a little bit young. I mean, we talk about Tyreek Hill. He's more on the way out. But Jaylen Waddle here at number 5 overall. By the way, if you're new to the channel, we are giving away a DeAndre Swift signed jersey. All you gotta do is be a subscriber for a chance to win. We're gonna give you that away here when we hit 2K. All right, and now back into the Superflex draft here. Number 6 overall is going to be Trevor Lawrence. This was a tough one because when we start getting into Superflex, I love quarterbacks in Superflex. And you really can't take some of these positional players from 2021 behind Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence could be easily have a breakout sophomore year, and all of a sudden we're looking stupid and going, wow, Trevor Lawrence was still the 101 easily. In fact, last year at this exact time, Trevor Lawrence was easily the 101. And if he performs like he did to Joe Burrow, we're going to look and go, okay, Trevor Lawrence is still the most valuable prospect. So you cannot push him down too far. Trevor Lawrence had a horrible rookie year. The Jaguars were a dumpster fire, but they are putting pieces around him to hopefully have Trevor Lawrence succeed, and Travis Etienne will be back as well. And now we get to 107. This is when we get into the first 2022 prospect. We'll just call him a prospect because, I mean, they're kind of a prospect, not even a player yet. They haven't played on the field. Breece Hall is going to be the 107. And just think of that. In Superflex, we have a 101 player in one draft going 107. 6 picks behind. It just shows how great this 2021 class is. And if you do the 2020 class, you're probably going to see something very similar to the 2022 class. It's just the 2022 class is not, it's just not elite. I mean, Breece Hall could be Javonte Williams, could be Najee Harris. That's a big question. I mean, when you look at Najee Harris and you look at Javonte Williams, they both have players. Javonte Williams has Melvin Gordon, and Melvin Gordon's probably going to be gone. We said that last year, but he's probably for surely going to be gone. Probably for surely, that means no sense. But he's most likely going to be gone. That's a better vocab there for you. I don't like the probably for surely. Most likely is going to be gone at the end of this next year. And so then Javonte can be let free, or maybe they'll draft another vet, or they'll not draft a veteran. Maybe they'll have somebody either a veteran signed or somebody drafted. Breece Hall is going to have Michael Carter, and that's not necessarily going to be a nuisance or a hindrance to his production by a lot, but Breece Hall is superstar talent. He's going to be ahead of some of these other quarterbacks in the 2021 class, and he's going to be ahead of some of the other running backs that I do like as well in the 2021 class. Breece Hall has that ability to be a top 5 Dynasty running back, and I really do like his talent, but there's just so much talent in that 2021 class. We're going to get into number pick 8. You let me know comment where you would have Breece Hall if you combine the 2021 and 2022 classes. Also, say where you would have the trifecta of Drake London, Treylon Burks, and Garrett Wilson. We're going to be talking about them in the future here, but we're going to get to 108, and it is Justin Fields. I know this is sometimes, people still hate. I love Justin Fields. I think he's going to be better than Trey Lance in the NFL. I think he's going to be. If I was starting a franchise, I would have drafted Justin Fields over Trey Lance. Now that being said, Trey Lance still might not play. He still might play. We don't know. We haven't seen him in 2 years. There's just so much unknowns with Trey Lance. And so when you talk about, again, the Justin Fields, Trey Lance, and Zach Wilson, they're really, really close to me in ADP-wise. You have Trey Lance, and then you have Justin Fields kind of in the middle, and then you have Zach Wilson, 4 or 5 quarterbacks after. So you really have like 10, 13, 18. And when you have 10, 13, 18, I think the value, even if you gave me a choice between Trey Lance and Justin Fields, I've been taking Justin Fields over Trey Lance still. I know it's not necessarily a popular opinion, but that's what I have. And then number 9 is going to be Trey Lance. Number 10 is going to be Zach Wilson. The trifecta of these quarterbacks, I think, in Superflex. Now, if this is one QB, we're not even talking about QBs in the top 10 picks. Even Trevor Lawrence, we're not talking about him in probably in the top 14, 15 picks. But in Superflex, you got to take these QBs because you're going to have 12, 13 quarterbacks taken in the first 2 rounds. And if you can get yourself a quarterback 1, they're going to be a top 2 round ADP. And that is going to be something more valuable than a lot of these running backs and wide receivers that are going to try to filter in. You really need a top 7, 8 wide receiver, top 7, 8, again, running back to even have that chance to compete with a wide receiver or quarterback 1, even if it's a low-end quarterback 1. And so that is why I have these guys 8, 9, and 10 in a row. Number 11, this was another tough one. And when we start getting to 11, it's like, okay, just my brain thinking, do I want the Travis Etiennes? Do I want the trifecta of wide receivers? Where does Kenneth Walker fit in? Where does Mac Jones fit in? Where does Elijah Mitchell fit in? That one-year wonder maybe. And then you have some other wide receivers that had a lot of potential last year in a really good class, Rashad Bateman, Elijah Moore. So we went with number 11, Travis Etienne. I still feel like with that draft capital A being excellent and him having potentially the workhorse role, because we don't know about James Robinson and his recovery of his injury. And I think James Robinson actually, it could be a buy low here because I think both of them are going to be a successful running back duo. I see a lot of Mark Ingram, Alvin Kamara. The most I have with any type of duo probably since Alvin Kamara and Mark Ingram, because you have Travis Etienne, who's a very good, actually I shouldn't say very good pass catcher. He has worked on it a lot since his beginning part of his career at Clemson, where he looked scared out there. And so he's not as good of a pass catcher as, I guess, Alvin Kamara, but has the ability, that burst, the acceleration. And then you have James Robinson, who is more power back in between the tackles. Again, Alvin Kamara can run through the tackles as well. I see a lot of similarities between the two. Travis Etienne is just not as good of a pass catcher, but they said he's working in the slot. He's working as wide receiver. How much do we believe Camp News? I guess we'll have to figure that out. But number 11 is Travis Etienne. Number 12 to round out. This is going to be where it's probably going to be one of the most unpopular opinions, I would say, that I've had, maybe ever. It is Davonte Smith here at 12. And I understand, Davonte Smith is stuck with Jalen Hurts. He has A.J. Brown into that wide receiver core as well. It is going to be the A.J. Brown and Davonte Smith show. You're going to have some Miles Sanders and Jalen Hurts. You're going to have some Dallas Goedert in there as well. Who knows how long that Jalen Hurts is going to be the starting quarterback. They are still a decent offense in a division that you have the Giants. I almost said Redskins. They're not the Washington football team anymore. Commanders. I was like, they have such a crappy team name now, the Commanders. They should have been something cool, like the Washington Knights or Washington. Even like the Washington Capitals is nice for a hockey team. Washington something else. Washington. I would have Washington Venom or something versus Washington Commanders. Anyways. I think Davonte Smith here is the most talented of the group. If you're talking about Drake London, Treylon Burks, Garrett Wilson, Davonte Smith, I think Davonte Smith is the most talented. And I understand situations constantly are fluctuant in the NFL level. Davonte Smith is not old by any means. We're talking about 23-year-old wide receiver. So Davonte Smith, I understand you're going to have a couple more years of age, but I love his ability. He showed that he was a wide receiver 3 his rookie year, even with considering the circumstances that he was put in. I think A.J. Brown's going to take some coverage away. I know it's kind of a crutch argument, but Davonte Smith here at 12, I know it's an argument, so you might say, hey, you're ridiculous. Number 13, we start to get back to the 2022 class, which is where I want to take a tiny break after this little 10 minutes of saying, this is why I don't like the 2022 class. You look at the 2021 class, there are 11 of 12, and you could argue and say there's at least 9 players of the 2021 class that I would rather have than the 2022 class. And this is the exact reason why you need to trade for 2021 players that have not performed well. The Zach Wilson, the Justin Fields, the Trey Lances, even the Travis Etiennes, versus trying to pay up the huge premium to get Ken Walker, it's Ken now, Drake London, Treylon Burks, Garrett Wilson, or even trying to get into the worlds of Sky Moore and the worlds of Christian Watson. They're huge boom chances and they're huge bust potentials, but I would rather have, again, a lot of players from the 2021 class, even we're going to be talking about Elijah Moore and Rashad Bateman, but those players you can get at a lot less value or a lot less cost, and that's what we want in Dynasty Fantasy Football. You want to find where the weaknesses are in other owners' minds, and I think this is one of them, that the 2022 class is way overhyped. Not even way overhyped, it's way overvalued at this point. And then the 2021 class, some of these players that did not perform well, Rashad Bateman, Elijah Moore, Travis Etienne, the quarterbacks, the sophomore, turning sophomore quarterbacks here are being way too undervalued. And this is where you can make, all of a sudden you look and go, oh my goodness, a breakout sophomore year or even junior year, which happens the second or third year. All of a sudden you go, oh my goodness, what happened? I traded that guy away. Now, yes, there is the N'Keal Harrys. There are some of the players that get drafted high that end up not becoming something, the Bryan Edwards and whatever it might be. But I believe that if you look at talent-wise, that the 2021 class is one of the most talented wide receiver groups. Even most talent, 2020 and 2021 class, we were blessed with all the young youth and talent, and I think there's definitely some buys that you can have here. So Kenneth Walker, 13, Drake London, Treylon Burks, Garrett Wilson, you pick your order, but it's 14, 15, 16, so really that class starts off the second round here. And then I get into Mac Jones, which Mac Jones is a really hard one to gauge because he is that kind of quarterback too. I don't think he's going to make the Joe Burrow jump. They don't have the weapons necessarily there. They got Devontae Parker. I mean, that's about it. Again, they don't have much there in New England. So I do find that that's going to be a struggle. Again, but if you want Mac Jones or if you want to try to get Kenny Pickett is not going to be a top 20 even player on this board, which is kind of crazy to think about. And that's why I even have promoted to, hey, let's trade for Mac Jones. Trade for Tua. Trade for why can't I think of Baker? Trade for those type of quarterbacks over the Kenny Pickett's and the Desmond Ritters and stuff because they're just being way overvalued at this point. And then number 18, this is a tough one, Elijah Mitchell. It's the 1 year of San Francisco wonder. I believe he's going to be the starting running back. They drafted a running back in the third round. So it's like, what exactly is San Francisco's plan? They always have a different plan every single year. And then to follow out 19 and 20, we do have Elijah Moore, which I have ahead of Rashad Bateman. I think, if you look at the value of Elijah Moore, who I think is going to have just as much ability to take that number one role as Garrett Wilson. I think both of them are very, very good, excellent wide receivers. And really, it's all banking on Zach Wilson. And so you can get one at 50 and one at 70. If you can get a round difference, I'm taking the Elijah Moore. Or even a 2-round difference, which I see in a lot of things. We've seen Garrett Wilson. We've seen Elijah Moore 1 to 3 rounds later, and I'm like, whoa, I'm taking Elijah Moore. I understand that the new hotness comes in, and you're like, I want that. But Elijah Moore, a very good wide receiver last year in a very good class. The biggest issue is he got hurt. He was an excellent wide receiver, one there for a gap with and without Zach Wilson there. And so number 20 is Rashad Bateman. This is based off of talent. He is the wide receiver 1 now, no Marquise Brown. So Rashad Bateman, number 20, which just leads me to say that Rashad Bateman being drafted behind the likes of Christian Watson, the Sky Moores, the Jameson Williams, and Jameson Williams is a big boom player. I would probably start having some of these a lot. This is where the gap between after this area. You have Amon-Ra St. Brown, which I would have behind the 2021 class. But I would have a lot of these wide receivers start to come in. The Jameson Williams, the George Pickens, the Sky Moores, the Christian Watsons. They would all start following into these end of second round, this 21, 22, 23, 24 area. So, but really, we're looking at 5 players I have in the top 20 for the 2022 class to the 2021 class. We already know the 2023 class is going to be amazing. Thank you, by the way, for sticking with this 15-minute video. Let me know if you want the longer videos or the shorter videos or whatever you'd like. But this is the rankings and group that I have. Let me know how horrible I am. And if you don't think I'm horrible, like, subscribe. Peace out. Have a good weekend. Maybe we'll do a couple shorts this weekend if we got time. So I'll see you guys on Monday.